Welcome back to News Insight. I've always said it that one day we're going to hear that children are being cooked and eaten as it was in the Bible. And we're seeing a glimpse of it. Recently, 59 children adopted, is it adopted or trafficked? We don't know for what. We don't know where they are going. They say between the ages of 4 to 12 or so. Yeah, these are minors. I mean, it's becoming very terrible. What do you make of this, and what do you think the government should respond to?
Well, let's give credit to the FCT command under CP Disu. Okay, because sometimes in attempt to remember our sorrows, we forget our joy. Imagine if they didn't truncate this journey. They were moving all the way from Kano, and they are going to Nassarawa. The journey from Kano to Nassarawa, once you are in Abuja, the journey is almost completed.
Yes.
You understand?
And they passed a lot of security on the road.
They passed a lot of securities while coming from Kano. So 59 children stuffed into the bus were between the ages of 4 to 12 were being moved. We didn't have a complaint that the children were missing, nothing. You know, you begin to have many questions. Did they happen by the consent of their parents? And that is even what the police is trying to investigate further. They're actually trying to hand them over. All of them are being detained, not necessarily detained, they're under custody of the police. And they're trying to hand them to the social foundation.
Social welfare.
Social welfare. Abuja social welfare.
So, and that is what they should do. Because the testimony of the adult with them is that they are taking them to somewhere where to train them. But when the police looked at the psychology of everyone there, 4 years, no specific adult accompanying them individually. 4 years is that young.
59.
What do you want to train? What are you doing with a 4-year-old child that is not yours? No documentation showing that the parents handed them over to you or was adopted or is being transported. There's nothing.
One man carrying 59.
One man. So the police acted accordingly
Promptly.
and truncated that.
Yes.
So if it is hunger or whatever frustration of the parents, I'm very, very certain with the way the police are going about it, we are going to get to the root of it. Okay, but we hope our nation won't get or degrade to the point
extent
where a parent will be willing to have his or her child removed to an unknown location so that you can survive.
The economic hardship is taking a lot of toll on Nigeria. A lot of people have associated with so many things. But let's stay with this confine of these children. What do you think happened?
Well, you see, at some time I don't understand where we are going in this country. Children. In December here, we had over 40 children were killed in Ibadan because of food, what to eat. Same December, both children, adults were killed in Anambra State because of food. Same December, people died because of food in Abuja here, the capital territory of Nigeria, the headquarters of Nigeria. You know, now again, 59 children be trafficked from Kano to Nassarawa. They crossed Kano State, Kaduna State, Niger State before they got to FCT, and they were heading to Nassarawa State. Like he said, if not for the benevolent and the diligent of the FCT command, police command, under the leadership of Disu, they would have successfully moved them to Nassarawa State. For me, there's only one thing that is responsible for this. In your opening speech, you said that you've always said that it will come to a point where people will donate their children to feed themselves. What could lead to that is poverty. You see, it's all boiled down to the failure of governance. Like he said, that he prayed that we don't get to that point, but let the police do their investigation and see what it is. You know, the question is being asked, and Nigeria are not selling their children for them to get food to eat? Because for 59 to 59 children of the age of 4 to 12 taken to somewhere by one adult without explanation, it shows that it's either he acquired them by buying them or he abducted them. So where are we heading to? I think the government need to sit tight. The blame for me, rests on the government. The government has failed because there's no food to eat, there's poverty, there's famine, no job, no nothing. So at the end of the day, people had to survive. People had to survive. I can assure you, by the end of the police investigation, you'll be sure that if you see we're going to the era of slavery, that some of these children were actually sold out so that the parents can take off other children. Because in the North, I'm not trying to,
blackmail or something.
The North is known for having a lot of children in one single family. They will look at it, there's nothing wrong if I sell this one so I can get money to feed the others. The investigation will uncover all of that. But it's very sad. Our government need to sit tight. We need to wake up.
A lot of social issues. We've seen children being used by bandits, terrorists, to perpetuate acts. Women. A lot of social issues. We've seen a wave of banditry going on. People kidnapping other people for ransom. These are all ways of survival. What can be done to alleviate these things and tone it down?
Each time we talk about Nigeria that works for everybody, the people in government think it is Nigeria that works for government officials.
Only.
It is a tragedy that the children who should be in school are not in school, and you are robbing them of today. It's also another tragedy that these children are being robbed of their future. It's a tragedy that there is no security to guarantee that they will live to even see the future. It is a tragedy that government that should come to their rescue are abusing, budgeting 9-point-something billion to feed themselves and travel to wherever they like, where they can't secure and can't detect that 59 children are being transported all the way from Kano. These are children from different parents. They were gathered in any format. They were kept in a custody in any format. They were shipped to an unknown location. And it's a tragedy that at the end of the day, nobody will be jailed for it. Each time we talk about the failure of the system, people think you want to attack the government. It didn't start with them, but the solution can start with them.
You see, there is something that came to my mind now. I'm really very emotional about this, really.
Of course, as a father.
No, it should.
It could have been my daughter.
Yes.
A lot of Nigerian politicians, whichever divide they belong to, we've seen them graduating, standing with their children, graduating in foreign schools. Most, if not all of them. Not one Nigerian university you see a politician said, my children graduated from...
The recent one was just wicked.
Exactly.
His son just bagged masters
in
LLM.
Why we didn't talk about so that it doesn't look like
we need to start talking
you were
about
saying they
them.
shouldn't go to school.
Whether they are senators, House of Rep member, they don't all have their children schooling in Nigeria at primary level.
No, but the governor just said that all his children are in school in Nigeria. That even within the eastern states. Recently, and he was very boastful. He said, "Is the
Goodluck Jonathan's children were all in Nigeria when he was president."
Yes.
Goodluck Jonathan said he never had any foreign account.
Exactly.
We had people like that.
Yes.
If yourself didn't study abroad, for any reason
you have gotten to where you are
today, you didn't do any business abroad, you have no point having an account and doing all that abroad.
Let me take it a little bit further. It may be on the extreme, but I'm going to say.
But you are crossing the line because this same thing you said was synonymous with what P2B said.
Yeah,
that they should use local institutions.
Yeah. So who adjured him that crossed the line?
Moka will tell you that you have crossed the line.
The constitution that adjured that he crossed the line.
Moka will talk to you very soon.
But I will say it. Our own president's son, the family lives abroad. I'm not against people living abroad.
Yeah.
But we should start from example. How can I carry my family to live abroad when I want to come
he has said it that look, that this thing should be done within the confine of the constitution. That what Obi said should have been an expo for them to work with.
Yes.
You understand? So the president's family lives abroad. They feel that's the best way, the example they want to give to us. What are they telling Nigerians to do? Strive and put your family abroad. Nigeria is a place where you harvest and you take it to, you spend it wherever your family are living. So Nigeria is not good to be developed. That's what they are saying.
There was one House of Rep member that brought up a bill in the House that it should be mandated that everybody in government, that children must school here. They killed it.
I wanted to ask you, where is the bill?
They shouted him down. It was a House of Rep member from Edo State. They shouted him down. We are hearing 59 of them. Now, there's something also of note that I read from that place. They said that the social development department of FCD took the kids in, and they are getting food from well-meaning Nigerians. My brother, where is NAPTIP?
No, where is the Nigerian government?
Where's the Nigerian government?
You see, that's why when I said I started with,
when he said tragedy, he know the long list of tragedies.
You see, you know why I put out that credit to FCT command? Because they tend to function, how do I call it, spectacularly different from the focus of the national. Because if not for the intervention of that FCT social development unit you're talking about, what would happen to these children? And remind you, that is what you have always said about state government.
Yes.
These children were under a state government, and they passed through other states. We want a situation where the states themselves begins, see what you said the other day. People say, oh, he's trying to evade responsibility. People say, even people were telling him that he's trying to evade the responsibility by saying that 65 to 70% of the money goes to the state.
You see, when they say that, it clearly shows that the people who are Nigerian does not even understand what is a federal system of government. They don't. If they understand what the president said is the truth of the matter.
Do you know that by now, the Kano state owes the public explanation
of how those children
moved. The state they passed through
the Kaduna
owes us explanation.
They don't ever want to take responsibility.
No.
But the money goes to them.
Yes.
That is
and we don't see any significant development in the state.
They are emperor in their state.
That is
all
why,
the governors.
That is why.
So who hold them accountable?
That is why. That's why the people should. You know, we talked about it the other time. That the people should.
To wake up from their slumber.
People are acting helpless, but they are not helpless.
They are not helpless.
When you say they should protest, people think it's only to block the road. No.
Yes.
Internet itself has made everything easy. The good thing, let me tell you, they tell you they don't know what happens in the internet is a lie. It's a lie. Twitter moved from 4 people tweeting in a room to almost shocking, to almost winning the election. Yes. As a matter of fact, a lot of people say election. Yes. So let's not go.
The truth remains that, you see, it is failure on the part of government. It's also a failure on the part of the people who do not know their right and who do not know how to exercise their right when they ought to have exercised their right. That is what I'd like to
let me tell you, nobody's going to hand, no slave master will free the slave.
Until the slave rise up by themselves.
Because he's in business because you are a slave.
Of course.
That business will not stop. The slaves have to think for themselves. The slaves have to think for themselves.
We call on the Federal Capital Development Authority. Not only these 59 that came from Kano, we see kids all over Abuja every day begging for arms. We don't know their father, we don't know their mother, and there's a social development department here. There's NAPTIP here. We don't have to wait for them to be kidnapped or trafficked before we stand up to it. At News Insight, we'll keep on saying and doing this thing in Nigeria where everything works for everybody. Thank you. We'll be right back.